Mesa Verde. This is Nick. Haven't gone anywhere. I'm still here. Wait a second. We're socially distanced. This is much better. You can see my face again. All right, welcome back, Mesa Verde. Although I wasn't in last month's edition of the newsletter, I'm here with you this month. And today, we're gonna revisit our old fashions. So, those of you who may have missed my previous video, just click right up there, and you can learn all about bourbons and old fashions. But today we're gonna go a little more in depth on something we're gonna do here for the month of August. We're gonna make our own barrel-aged old fashioned. So, what's a barrel-aged old fashioned? It's real simple. I make a big batch of old fashions. I fill up this barrel. We let it sit for a month, so it's gonna sit all of July, and then you can enjoy it come August. And you'll notice more complexity. The oak notes will be more abundant within it, as well as like all the characteristics, the orange and the cherry will meld more with the bourbon, and it'll be more harmonious cocktail. But we're not just using any bourbon. So most bourbon people think comes from Kentucky, Bourbon County, Kentucky. What we're actually gonna use is Texas bourbon. This is the only distiller that makes official bourbon in Texas. Now, this particular one, if you look real close at the bottle, you'll see it says Mesa Verde on it. It has MVCC on it. Right here, on this metal part. This is our special single barrel. Greg and a handful of people worked with Garrison Brothers to pick our own barrel of bourbon. We decided to do it in two different proofs. The reason being is that just you get a little more flavor and intensity from the higher proof, 114 proof versus the 94 proof. Now both those are a little higher than your average bourbon. Most bourbons run, like most vodkas, most other spirits, around 80 proof. Take the proof, divide it in half, and you get the alcohol percentage. 80, 40, 94, 47. How do you get the proof difference? Well, as it ages, some of the bourbon will naturally start to evaporate. They call this the angel's share. So the barrel starts to get higher and higher in alcohol the more it ages. And then they just dilute it down with a little bit of water, and that's typically how you get your proof. I mean, they do this with everything: Scotch, Jack Daniels, Crown Royal, all those bourbons, whiskeys, scotches, they all do that. Anything that's aged, they really have to do that. Tequila as well. We chose not to have it diluted down too much. That way you can really taste the flavor of the single barrel that we picked. So what we're gonna do today, I'm gonna make about 10 liters of old fashioned. That's a party. We're gonna do 4 bottles each of the 2 proofs, the 94 and the 114. And then we're gonna do 2 bottles of Luxardo liqueur, a bottle of orange, kind of like an orange brown brandy. It's kind of like a Grand Marnier or a triple sec. It's actually, this is what we use in our top shelf margaritas. It's really nice. It gives you the quality of Grand Marnier without having to pay an arm and a leg for a bottle. And then we're gonna use our turbinado syrup. I just have this little bottle as an example. I got the rest of it down here, a much bigger vessel. We're gonna mix it all together, and then we're going to pour it into the barrel. Now, you may be asking, well, what about the bitters? Old fashions have bitters. I have the bitters, but we're gonna top it as we make the drink. As it's being served to you, we're gonna add the bitters. Bitters separates. For whatever reason, the rest of this will stay together in the barrel. The bitters will actually separate out, it'll settle down. Now, yeah, you do have to give it a little bit of a shake when you start pouring it after it sits for about a month. I mean, something's gonna settle a little bit, but not as much as the bitters will. So to get a consistent flavor, we're gonna top with bitters as we serve it to you guys. All right, so now we're gonna get to pouring. Mask back on. All right, so I filled up most of this already. We're just gonna top off with a little more bourbon, because you can't have too much bourbon. Now that we have it all together, make sure it's nice and thoroughly mixed. Yeah, it's a pretty simple process. All right, so I got it mixed up. Now, I gotta fill it in here. So, first thing I gotta do, make sure this is closed. Now, if you guys ever try and do this at home, one of the first things you have to do is you have to fill this sucker up with hot water. So this has already been set, it's ready to go. It aged with hot water for 24 hours. So what you do now is you remove this piece, it's called the bunghole. And got a pitcher. I got a funnel. We're just gonna pour it in. Yeah, it's a pretty simple process. All right, sucker's full. I'll get this nice and clean. All you have to do, place this sucker, let it sit. That's it. It's really not that hard to make. The hardest part is waiting. All right, so follow me as we put this back where it's gonna go. Ooh, heavy. All right, there's its home, Mesa Verde. So next time you're in, come and ask for one of our barrel-aged old fashions. And you can see how much of a difference it makes just sitting in a barrel for 1 month. Till then, take care, Mesa Verde.